So the topic of my talk is, as the name says, cloud revolution. This wasn't actually the original talk I was going to give, but a couple of weeks ago I saw a presentation that actually Noon gave about do-it-yourself as a service, the economicals and practical benefits of leveraging cloud services. Big name. And so I thought about that presentation, and I thought what would be a good message to say today and how to present what I work on, what Microsoft is doing, and Windows Azure, which is a platform that I work for. As Nuno said, I'm Portuguese. Yeah. So everything starts with a problem. Innovation comes from problems, solutions come from problems, evolution comes from them. And so let's start with a problem. Let's start with a simple problem, problems that we face every day. Let's say that we want to develop a new app. Let's say that we want to develop an app for a phone. Chances are that your app is not only going to reach phones. People use multiple devices. They want to be able to use their apps wherever they are, in which device they have at hand at any point in time. And so chances are you're going to use also, you're also going to change your app to be possible to use it on a tablet, a PC, or a TV. Apps are everywhere, even TVs nowadays, so you want to be able to use your app everywhere. Chances are, as you evolve your app, you want to think about how it's going to adjust for growing number of users. So you expect your app to have more and more users as time goes by. And this is important to adjust. It's important that your app scales to that. It's important that your app adjusts fast to that. You don't want to be redoing your code. You don't want to be changing your infrastructure to adjust to the way people use your app. You also want to be able to adjust, say, to spikes in demand. Say you're doing a store. It's expected that maybe you'll have more traffic during Christmas. It's expected maybe if you're doing a winter clothes store that you'll have lower usage during summer. So you want your app to adjust to this variation, not just the growing number of users, but also spikes in demand. Or you want to be fast hitting the market. So you want to develop your app, focus on developing your app, focus on your core competencies, and not having to worry about anything else. You want to just focus on what you actually want to produce. You want to test it in the market. You want to be able to adjust to the market fast. So this is something that you value when you're going to develop your app for the multiple devices. And so what you do traditionally you'll go and set up some servers, you'll install some software in those servers, and you'll hire some administrators to manage all of that. And so as your app will evolve, as you'll get more users, changes in your app, new needs, what you'll do, you'll install more servers, install more software, and hire more people. This is really not ideal. So is this the best you can do? Well, not really. That's where cloud computing comes in. Cloud computing allows to hire infrastructure has an utility. So you only hire what you need. You don't have to set up anything. You hire it as a service. You go to Amazon or Microsoft or Node.js or Rackspace and you hire a service that provides you the infrastructure, that allows you to have the tools to adjust your infrastructure to your app as the app changes over time. And so this is a new way of thinking about doing apps, about doing services, about making your app change faster and adjust faster and scale faster. So what are the different kinds of models that you have for cloud services? So you have traditional software. Like I said, you have to manage everything. And as you move to cloud computing, you have different approaches to it. You can go partially in or all in, using an expression that was made popular maybe by Ballmer. And so you can go from the entry level, say, which is higher infrastructure, which means you hire machines and you manage those machines. You have to set up the OSs, you have to set up all your middleware, you have to set up all the infrastructure that you're going to use. You just don't have to set up the machines and the network and things like that. So this is the entry level to cloud computing. It's, for instance, what made Amazon initially popular. You can go a step further than that and go to platform as a service. And this means that all the middleware, all the OSs, all the runtimes are set up for you. So you don't have to worry about upgrading Windows or installing the new kernel for Linux. You don't have to worry about managing those kinds of things. So the OSs are set up for you, they're updated for you, all the potential security fixes are updated for you, and you don't have to worry about that thing. So you worry only about your app and your data. That's all you have to do. That's where you focus your attentions. That's your core competency. You want to sell, you want to create your product, and so you focus on that part. Everything else is managed for you. Or you can go even a step further than that, and this is, for instance, Salesforce, and go software as a service, where you don't even have to worry about your app. You hire a software, and you pay for it as a service. You pay a monthly bill for it, and you use it as that. So these are the three kind of approaches to cloud computing, the prevailing ones in the market today. And these are some of the apps that are already using, in a way or another, services that are provided by the cloud. There are stored that are provided by cloud providers. So how do you think about making the move from traditional software to cloud computing software? What are the things that you need to worry? What are the things that you need to consider? How do you go about that? And so there are a certain number of things that you value. So to make a move to a cloud computing model from traditional software, where you will manage everything, where you have full control, you want to have the least barriers as possible. You don't want the cloud computing platform, to force you to change your app. You don't want to rewrite any app that you have. You don't want to learn a new language to be able to build your new app to this platform. You want to be able to use whatever you want. And that can be tools or languages that you already know. It can be choosing the model that you want. Like I said, there are different models for cloud computing. You want to use the one that you really think it's the most beneficial for your business. And it needs to provide the services that you need. So you need storage, or you need messaging, or you need blobs. You want the platform to provide you the services that you actually want to use. Otherwise, you're going to pick some other platform, basically. And you want to be able to manage and control all of this easily. So you don't want to have to install some special browser or some special OS or some special tool or some special framework to be able to manage all of this. You want to be able to manage it all with the tools you already know, with the OSs you already know, with the platforms you already know. And so this usually makes you think, and when you think special about Microsoft, that this is not the usual way Microsoft does things. So as you'll put it, this is me, and this is where I work for. So maybe not, but actually no. So times are changing. I mean, Microsoft is realizing the importance of some of the things that the community are valuing, and some of the things it needs to do better. And so Microsoft is adjusting to that also. So this can either be like starting a few years ago when we started Coldplex, and we started shipping things on Coldplex, which means it's a platform like GitHub, way before GitHub was actually popular, where you could just create your own project, work source code on it. So it's basically a repository manager. It supports Git, it supports Mercurial, it supports TFS. So it all started with this a couple of years ago. And then it evolved. We actually shipped frameworks in Coldplex. And this, for instance, ASP.NET. ASP.NET, the whole code for ASP.NET is now public. You can just go to Coldplex and get it. You can actually submit pull requests if you want. Or it can even be like full apps. Microsoft, over the last few years, it has actually been sponsoring full apps that are developed open source. I actually worked on this one a few years ago, Orchard, which is a CMS. So Microsoft is actually giving away apps for free, open source. You can submit pull requests, you can do contributions, you can do basically whatever you want with them. They have usually very permissive license, like MIT or Apache 2, and so it's basically what you'll get with any other open source library, just sponsored by Microsoft. And so this is also the case with Windows Azure. Windows Azure has a set of SDKs, and we realize that people value being open source, people value being able to do adjustments to the code, people value being able to see what the platform is actually doing. And so the Windows Azure SDKs, and we have a bunch of them for a lot of languages, not only the Microsoft ones, are all shipped with Apache 2 license. Like I said, we support multiple languages. We host on GitHub, and we welcome contributions. So anyone can just go to GitHub, create a pull request, and we'll review it, and if it's okay, we'll merge it. So it's the traditional open source model. So it's also supporting, like I said, multiple languages. So it went way and beyond the Microsoft stack, which will be traditional Windows Phone, .NET, that kind of things. But we now support Node.js, Java, PHP, Python, Android, and we're extending to other languages, which means you can use Azure, you can deploy your apps to Azure using the language that you're used to, the language that you like to use, language that you love. And so that's very important to us. It also has a brand new portal. I don't know if you use Windows Azure at any point in time, but if you did, you know that Windows Azure exists for a couple of years ago already now. But traditionally had a Silverlight portal. And that was very cumbersome because it didn't work well on Linux. Even on Mac, it had some glitches. It was very annoying. People didn't like that. People didn't like the fact that they will have to install Microsoft stuff just to manage their apps. And so we changed that. And we now have a brand new portal. It was released a couple of months ago that allows you to manage mostly everything in Windows Azure through a traditional HTML5 portal. So it's moving towards the technologies and languages that people love and are used to use in their days. It also provides a bunch of services that we keep on increasing that go from compute, and this can be virtual machines, it can be website cloud services, which are kind of alternatives to host websites, pages, where you manage more or less of the infrastructure. It provides data management solutions, SQL and NoSQL solutions, blob storage. It provides networking, media, which is brand new, which is actually awesome because if you want to deliver media to multiple platforms, you can just upload your media once, and Azure takes care of converting it to all the formats that you need, say iPad, say Windows Phone, say PC. So it does all that conversion for you, so you don't actually have to worry about converting your media to all those formats. Who has done something like this knows how cumbersome it is. It involves a lot of processing time, a lot of just management work, and Windows Azure does all of this for you. It supports CDN, caching. It has a bunch of services, and we keep on adding more services to fulfill all the needs that people that want to use the platform have. And so this is all cool and all. I mean, a lot of stuff, but we actually want to see how it works. We actually want to see an app, and that's what I'm going to try to show you. And I'm going to use the obvious thing. I'm going to show you the Node version of it. And so for Node in particular, Windows Azure has three main vectors of support. It has tools for deploying your apps to Azure. So it provides CLI tools to be able to manage your infrastructure and deploy your apps to Azure. It has a process manager that actually runs on each of the VMs and manage Azure. It manages the process. It spin ups multiple node executables to take advantage of all the processors that you have, something similar to cluster, which is called INS node. And we have a package for Azure, an NPM package that supports the services. Basically, you can just get it by npm install Azure. And so now I'm going to do some coding, and hopefully something will blow up. We'll all have fun and yeah. Okay, so can you hear me? Yeah. So I'm going to start by doing, I'm just going to do a simple Express app because I want to focus on showing how the process works of creating and building and deploying to Azure. And so I'm just going to do a simple Express app. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is create a website. And a website in Azure is where I'm going to upload my stuff. It's where I'm going to see my site. So I'm going to use my module, which you will install by doing npm install azure/g. And this comes with a CLI that allows you to manage stuff. I already did that, so I'm just going to do Azure site list. This will basically show me what sites I already have created into my account. Basically, I have these three sites. So I'm going to create a new one, Azure site create LXJS app. And this is going to provision me a VM that I can use to upload my site to. It allows me to select which data center I want, when we have 4 at the moment. So I'm just going to pick East US. And so meanwhile, I can actually already go to the portal and show you the portal. And how can I go and... Okay. And so I can go to the portal and show you basically where I'm going to be managing my stuff. This is really small. So basically what I'm creating is a website. So I want to go to the sidebar and select websites. And it has finished creating the website, so it will now show up here. Okay. And I can select my website. And this panel basically just show me different stats about the site, how much space I'm using, how much CPU, etc. What I'm really interested here is the deployment tab, because I want to deploy my app, so I want to set up something so I can deploy my app. And it basically showed me 3 options here. I can deploy through GitHub, I can deploy through Codeplex, or I can just create a local repository into Azure for Git and publish directly from my local file system to that. For this demo, I'm going to use GitHub because it's actually fun. And so I'm going to access GitHub. This is going to look at my projects. I'm going to select this one, which I already created, LXJS repo. And this basically means that I'm tying this website with that repo, which means every time I publish to master, I push to master on that repo, I get GitHub repo, it's going to automatically be pushed to this VM and it's going to be live into the web. So basically this just says that it just deployed the initial commit that I had there, which is basically just a README. And so now I can go ahead and just create an Express app, just something simple. I can go ahead and open this up. And actually, no, I'm going to do something easier than that. Just going to git clone the repo. It's faster to allow me to save time later on. So I'm just going to clone the Git repo that I had, which is basically Git, the repository that I associated, and it will be empty now. And then I'm going to do Express.js. Yes. Okay. And this basically just created me an Express app within the Git repo that I already had. And so if I actually do a commit now, I'm going to do one more thing, which is create git ignore so that it doesn't upload the node modules. And I'm just going to push this all to Git. So I'm going to do git add and then git commit. And then push this whole thing. There you go. Okay, so now I pushed my simple scaffold Express app to my Git repo. If I actually refresh this, I can see my commit. Should be able to see my commit. And if I go to the deployments tab, I can see that it actually already detected that and it already deployed because I pushed to master, so it already deployed this as a website. So if I go to dashboard and I do open site here, I should be able to see my Express app. And there you go. So it's already live in the cloud running on Azure, something really simple. I could also actually open the site here, Azure site show, LXJS app, and this will basically do the same thing, figure out the URL and open the browser into, oops, it's not this one. Site, browse. So pretty much the same thing, just open the browser. And so the next thing I want to do is actually go ahead and use the module into something else other than just CLI and manage. I actually want to use table storage in this. The Express app comes with a tab with a route for user, so I'm just going to do a simple app to manage my user. I'm just going to do a form that I can submit a new user and a page where I can see all my users. So to do that, I'm going to open Sublime on my app. I'm going to add the dependency to the Azure module. I'm going to say just get latest. I'm going to save this. Okay, I'm going to save this. I'm going to run npm install. Just to get the dependencies that I have, basically Azure and Express and whatever. And now I have my app ready to hook up to Azure. So I'm just going to this user routes, and I'm going to include Azure. And I'm going to do another thing, which is I want to use table storage. I'm going to use, which is basically a NoSQL database for Azure. I'm going to create the table service, and I'm going to do Azure create table service. Later on, I'm going to have to provide credentials here. I don't have it here. There's multiple ways to provide credentials. For the demo, it's just faster to put them there. And so I'm going to create an add user page. And I'm going to create an add user post, which basically allows me to post the form data so that I can add users. And that's basically it. These are the actions that I basically need. I actually have the app already created here, so I'm going to just copy paste a bunch of code to be faster. So I'm basically copying the route definition. Basically, I need to add those routes to my site. And I'm going to copy the code to actually do the actions here. So I'm going to go to user, and basically we're going to copy this one, just shows the view. I'm going to copy this one, which posts the form, sorry. Basically processes the form data into a table and redirects basically to the list again. And I'm going to copy the listing operation, which basically lists the users. And I'm going to copy one more, which is basically this line here, which is the line that we wrote before, which basically defines the credentials when in my table. So I'm just going to guide you quickly through the code. So basically the list, what you want is just do a select from a particular table, which is a users table, and then I'm going to just execute that select. So basically I get a query, and then I execute that query, obtain a list of users. If there's an error, I'm going to be lame and not actually show errors. I'm just going to print no users, so pass an empty list. And that's basically it for the listing, and show that users basically. For the add, I'm just going to show the view, the add user view. And for the add user post, I'm going to create a table if it doesn't exist. So when you first insert a user, I'm going to check if a table exists, and if it doesn't exist, create that users table. And then I'm going to grab the body, which is basically the form fields. And I'm going to add two special fields, which is row key and partition key, where partition key is the physical location for each of the records, and the row key is the line within that physical location. So this basically is the primary key to each of your records. The pair needs to be unique, and if you have records that are going to be used in the same way, they should have the same partition key. That's the basic concept of it. So I'm basically just defining these additional fields, and then I'm inserting the entity and redirecting basically to the list users again. So only two things missing here for my app to run, and that is basically the views. Where do I have that? Oh, I know. Okay, so I basically need to copy the views, and where did I put them? It's this one? Yeah, it's this one. And then, where is my, it's then views. Yeah, so. Yeah, okay, so now we should have everything that you need to run the app. I'm going to run it not locally. So if you go, 1,000. I see I now have a link to users. I can see the users. Ooh, awesome. Typo somewhere. Add user. Oh, it's not this one. It's this one. Okay, add user. Add user. Is this right? Pretty sure this was working. So now if I kill this and I do this again, I don't think that's it. Add user. Now I think this is actually in the routes. Okay, anyways. I'm not sure what is the problem now, I'm not seeing, so anyway, so I'm just going to push this. Now, git remote, push master. Origin. I'm sorry? Well, I think this, I'm pretty sure this is where I worked, so I'm just going to do git remote add and upstream and just going to upload it to the repo. I'm going to push it. Oh, I didn't add anything. So I need to add everything, then commit everything. Adding users. And so the node modules, they didn't get started, but anyways, it doesn't matter. You can do this also. So upstream master. Okay, for some reason this is not working. Okay, let me just copy this whole thing and do that in another way. Copy the finished app. So I'm going to clone it again. I'm just going to copy the, this whole thing to this thing. And so, and now I'm gonna do git add everything and git commit new, then a git push. There you go. I don't know where I messed up in the folders, but anyways. And so now if I go to the portal again, I should see that it is deploying this push that I just did with the new version of the app. to websites. I should be able to see the new commit that I just did. There you go. And so if I go to the app now, where is the URL? It's here. If I go to the app now, I should have my users there. And so there you go. Let's actually see if the add user, yeah, the add user now works. So, because I copied it. Yeah. Okay, so this actually allows you to do more interesting things than this. You can go to deployments and you could actually roll back, say, to your original version again if you wanted. You could just select this and do redeploy. Say you messed up and you deploy the wrong version, or you have a bug or something, you want to quickly go back, you can just do redeploy of a previous version, say yes, and this is actually going to deploy this version again. And so if I go to my site and I refresh, there's no users anymore. And so if I refresh, probably still deploying. Oh, yeah, I deployed the version that didn't even have a site, so I need to deploy this one, which is the original Express app. Why are you doing this to me now? Huh, okay. Not a good day, not a good day. Okay, so this will deploy the previous version and so on. So you can actually do the same flow with the tool, and you can go Azure Site Deployments and do LXJS app, and oh, okay. Azure Site Deployment List. Azure Site Deployment List, LXJS app. And this will show me the deployments, and you could do redeploy as well here. So if I do redeploy here and pass the commit, it will redeploy a previous version. So you can automate this whole thing into a script. So that's basically it for my demo. And back to the slides. And so I don't have fishes to give like Matt, which is kind of unfortunate. I could have been smarter than that. But the local Microsoft team said that they actually have some prizes that they wanted to give to folks. Folks that go ahead and try Azure. So if you want to try Azure, there's like free trials. You can just go online, windowsazure.com, create a trial account. You don't pay anything. You don't need credit card. You don't need any of that. Actually, you do need credit cards, but just for verification. It has a cap. It never charges. I would recommend, since we're in Portugal, you use like MBNet or something. Not that there is a problem, but that's the easiest solution that people use here. And so you can send us your submissions to andrerod@microsoft.com. We'll evaluate and give some awards. We have a nice phone, Windows Phone to give. So, yeah. And if you want to learn more about Azure, there's a few events in Portugal. They also asked me to say about. And so if you want to join, these are the dates and these are the places. And more information here. Thank you.